Back with Brian and JJ Radio. We have Bobby, which is actually it's Brian and JJ Radio. We have Mr. Brian Paris here. He's actually a colleague of ours at Keller City View. Been with the company for
10 years.
Now a decade, and now he's heading up another organization and helping out with them. Let's start and talk. Well, first of all, thanks for hanging out with us finally.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So talk about SAAREB and what you guys are doing and who you're servicing here in the San Antonio metro area.
So SAAREB stands for the San Antonio Association Real Estate Brokers. We're a nonprofit organization that focuses on improving the home ownership rates for African American families. We've been in existence since the 90s, and we're just looking to close that gap.
Sure.
A lot of our audience doesn't know what it takes to get into home ownership.
For sure.
Because it's not either taught and it's not explained, and my parents are renting and my parents are renting. So if we can open up those paths to home ownership, showing how easy it is to get into home ownership,
right,
then we can start creating generational wealth. Because if at some point in time I'm going to pass and my children will get my house and they can do whatever they need to do from that point in time. If you're renting, you have nothing to pass down to your kids.
For sure. And so you guys focus on just education for the community.
A lot of it is education. Some of it is on the realtor side, making sure that we have the tools and education necessary to help talk about down payment assistance and, probate and things like that. But also the community is absolutely. And even for the community on, hey, this is what it takes to be a homeowner. If you've got 640 credit, you're on the path.
Right.
And whether that path is 6 months or a year or 2 years, you're on the path. And that's what we want to try to focus on.
Brian and I were talking about that. I mean, there's so many people out there that just think to themselves that I can't buy a house because I don't have 20% down.
Right.
And we were talking about the national average we pulled up on National Association of Realtors, minimum down payment 7%. That's the average nationally.
Yeah.
So the 20% doesn't exist unless, you're at that caliber of a client where you can do something like that.
Right.
But it's just the know-how, letting people know, hey, guess what? You can go as low as a 580 credit score as well.
Exactly.
I mean, all those things exist. Lower with some other lenders as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you think about, the opportunity that opens up, if I have to save for a $130,000 house, I've got to save $26,000. That's I can't do that.
Yeah.
But if I can save 3%, then that changes what I think about as far as home ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah, $4,000 is nothing.
Well, then you talk about the asset. I mean, you're not buying just a house. You're buying something. You're buying a home, but you're also buying something that you can sell 5 years from now for a profit. And your money's not going to interest. You use the example. You're paying 100% interest when you rent.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah, exactly. So there's amazing things. And you are the chapter president for SAAREB, right?
That is correct.
Right?
That
okay.
is correct.
How long do you hold that seat for?
Until they kick me out.
Well, you're doing a good job and you got some stuff stacked up. What do you got coming up? What is SAAREB doing? So
SAAREB wants to do a community empowerment expo on the 14th of September. We just called it a home buyer fair. Then those who think they're not ready for home ownership won't attend. But if we talk about the different components, how to understand and build your credit. Let's talk about probate and how to keep grandma's house in the family. Let's talk about budgeting. Let's look at how to save money, effectively. Let's talk about how to keep your kids from getting $28,000 in student loan debt so that they can buy a house. So all these different components on a financial level can help empower them to do better next year, next month, or so on and so forth. So it's going to be on the 14th of September at the Second Baptist Church Community Center. It's going to be a family event. We're going to have childcare available. We're going to have a bowling alley for those tweens who they don't want to listen, but they don't want to play.
There's a couple millennials that fall in that bucket too.
Yeah, right.
I'll throw myself into that.
We're going to have about 11 different classes that are going to be sponsored, so you can come into a class, you can check out the vendors. We're going to have different vendors that'll offer their services as well. So
food trucks.
Yeah, it's going to be a really nice event.
Sure.
You talked about childcare. Why is that so important?
Because that's one of the reasons people don't come. I got my kids.
Right. Yeah.
I got my 3-year-old kid who, I can't, leave him at home by himself. So if we offer childcare, then that's one opportunity that, for that 1 hour you're in class, your kid is being taken care of by licensed professionals. Then I can not worry about, how they're tearing up the house.
So quick takeaway, Bryce. So what got you so involved with this program?
When I was 19, nobody taught me. You learn through the school of hard knocks. You learn through having 500 credit. You learn through the the 1990 Mitsubishi Galant that's worth $6 and you owe $9. So when I
sounds so true. that he pulled that out like that's real stats.
Yeah, I can see
it was gold.
Pocket.
So when I came into San Antonio and I found the organization, it was a great opportunity. I was like, man, this is great. You can do so many big things here just through education.
Sure.
And whether you use it this year or next year, whether you use me as a realtor or not, I'm not worried about that. I want you to at least have the tools in your tool belt so that when you are ready, you know what you're doing. That's super important to me.
So again, it's going to be Saturday, September 14th. Brian has a couple spots for some sponsorships, for some vendors. Just sign up. You can actually email him at bmparis@hotmail.com or call him or text him at 210-445-8963.
Yep.
Again, that's 445-8963, and that's September 14th, 10 to 4, at Second Baptist Church Community Center. We'll be right back with Brian and JJ Radio.